Hi, I'm Craig McLeod and welcome to Drift My Ride. Today we've got Darren and his SR powered S13 with hand controls. If you suffer from a disability and want to take part in a sport, you normally have to compete against others with similar handicaps. However, motorsport is unique as it's the only sport in the world where disabled athletes compete on the same playing field as all others. A major factor for the recent emergence of disabled racers is the development of technology and the organisations that provide support. Drifting has its own disabled stars with Team Legless, a dedicated disabled drifting team, and Rob Parsons, aka the Chair Slayer, a well-known member of Ken Block's Hoonigan crew. Hello, how are you doing?
I'm good, yeah, thank you.
Thanks
how are you?
for coming along, dude.
Yeah, no worries.
For starters, this is an S13, but one of the big things, should we start with the big thing? That's
go on.
For you, this is natural.
Yeah, let's bring it in then.
It's got hand controls.
Yeah, automatic SR20.
Yeah. So an SR20, so it's got an automatic box.
Yeah.
It? So do you actually run it in? Do you run it in just like stick it in second, or do you put it in drive?
Well, it's got this gearbox controller here, which is a display. There's a unit down there. If you are in first, the car will hold first and second. If you're in second, that'll hold first, second and third. What the gearbox controller really does is you can shift and change the parameters of where the gearbox will upshift and downshift, so that's working at the end of its boost range.
So that's like basically a computer that's then choosing what's going on with the gearbox.
Yeah, exactly.
The hand controls, so we got push, now you tell me if I'm getting this wrong, because it's important that we get it right. Push forward is to brake.
Yeah.
And then I've got like a little sort of like
a trigger throttle there.
Yeah, like from like a BMX.
It's not a jet ski is what
is it? Oh, a jet ski, and that's the accelerator.
That's the accelerator, yeah, the cable just goes direct to the throttle body.
And then there's another lever. Yeah,
that is a hydro, that is plumbed in, and in theory it does work, but we've found that you probably need an arm the size of Arnold Schwarzenegger's to push it. So,
holy moly!
Yeah, you can't really shift it. So
you did an engine conversion on it.
Yeah.
So you had a problem with the CA, was it?
Yeah, I drifted it for a year and a half and standard, and it had a T28 on it. I think it just rang the life out of it for a good year and a half, and decided it had enough. So we decided to go with an SR20.
It's from an S15, you said?
Yeah, it's from an S15. It was a low mileage S15, and it is a nice engine, and it's got the newer generation S15 turbo on there, and then you can still run the S15 coil packs, which are a bit better than the earlier SRs. But other than that, currently it is just standard, and it was easier for wiring the engine up to run all S14A wiring looms. So it runs an S14A wiring loom, ECU, and gearbox controller.
And what kind of diff have you got in it?
It's a 4.3.
Is it welded up or is it?
Yeah, it's welded. It's a welded diff, which I might change it. You'll see for yourself. I think that could do with a 4.1 now. Cause I've always run a 4.3 with a CA, and I've been driving for quite a while now. And I do honestly think maybe a 4.1 is definitely worth putting in it to see if that just change that gearing around a little bit. But then you'll go to another track, and then you think you don't need to. It's one of them, isn't it?
We've got Wisefab up front as well.
Yeah, Wisefab on the front.
Did you drive it always with Wisefab?
I had the TDP kit, which I got on okay with, but I had the opportunity to get a second-hand Wisefab, which was a good price. So I put that on it, and I prefer it. I think that I like the TDP kit for that was responsive all over everywhere. But I think the Wisefab for me, for my choice of driving, drives better on angle.
Otherwise, we have a huge cage in here as well.
Yeah, this is a Fabricage. This guy's just down the road from me. We made the door bars because obviously with the hand controls, I'm in a wheelchair. We kind of made them because that helps me. They're just a nice height to transfer in, low enough to protect you, but it gives you enough room in the car. And I can sit on them and sort of like get from a chair to the bar, then the bar to the seat, and and get in, because getting in that bucket seat isn't the easiest thing in the world if your legs work, let alone if they don't.
Getting in and out of race cars is not good at the best of times. And you're also part of a team. What's your team?
I'm in Team Legless. There's about 8 or 9 of us. I can't remember exact numbers now. 4 of us are competing drivers in RDC or Drift Cup, and no one's hit a podium yet, but people are like qualifying up in the 14th, and my highest qualifying point so far in RDC was 22nd, which then I went up to Zaina Young is obviously a very good driver, and she knocked me out. That was that. But
You get it next time.
yeah, next time. I love this car. I've had this car for 3 years, and I've been through engines in it, and it's a great car.
Yeah. So is this your first ever?
It's my first ever drift car. Yeah, yeah. And I've had it for 3 years. When I first met John, going to want to come out of hospital, I suppose I wanted to find something else to do because I was a bit of a biker, I suppose, and wanted another petrol head idea, and got talking with John, who's a sort of founder of Team Legless, and Patrick, and they just turned around at the time. Flat Out Factory were offering a MX-5 with hand controls. Had a go in that, and then that was it. Like,
Just like this is the best ever.
That's it. The hook is in. Right, let's go find a car, buy a car, get a car, build a car, and then 3 years later, here we are now, competing in RDC and Drift Cup in this car.
Yeah. So big cage, fire extinguishers kicking about,
full plumbed in system,
plumbed in, but otherwise she's not like crazily done. It's just it's an SR with some decent suspension and the right safety gear.
HSDs on there, which are like still not an expensive shock, but I think for value for money they're probably one of the best out there. I like them, the HSD Mono Pros.
Well, I think we might as well see if I can drive without using my legs. Now, I've shuffled this car about a bit, but I still find my legs moving to try and do things. But right, you're going to need to teach me to do this. So we'll go do a free bit of we'll do a wee sort of driving around to make sure that I can get it, and then we'll just see how we go for there.
Yeah. Let's chuck in some quarters and see what happens.
Right, let's go.
Happy days.
Handbrake off.
There's your throttle. Just pull it right back. That's it.
And it just runs and tick over as well.
Yeah, so you can go around and tick over, then introduce the throttle. That's what I mean. You ain't got to just concentrate, keep that brake off. Yeah. You aren't really going to need to use it unless you're going to think you're going to obviously. You need brakes. Yeah. So yeah, just throw the car on as normal and just then introduce throttle. Yeah. Sorted, mate. Who needs lessons? Yeah. Just get in your head. If you do need to stop, obviously. Bash that. Yeah, bash that, right. I'm going to try a wee bit going round here. Yeah, go for it, because you'll get after a second then as well, you see. Wisefab is really weird, like it's almost like a crab walk. Yeah. I appreciate it's the first time, but I reckon when you're coming out the corners, you got to try and introduce the power earlier. Introduce it earlier, Like as soon as the car is doing a weight shift, get the throttle back on, get it round, because you can always take it off again. Yeah, right. Get in there! Power! Power! Come on, get it!
That's the most terrifying thing I've ever done. I think I might be done.
Yeah?
I think
Fuck it, so go on, do one more lap,
One more lap.
Yeah, get it, man. Just power. Power.
Right, let's see if you can do that lap.
Go on, that's it. Respect, mate, for the first time you've ever driven a car on hand controls. That is excellent.
I'm so just like I have no idea what I'm doing. I had so much fun, but oh, I'm done. It's like a heart's going like this. Fucking hell.
Yeah, I bet.
And you sitting beside me going faster and faster. I'm like, no!
Give it some, man.
Oh, man, so much fun.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. It's just like I've never driven an S body with Wisefab, and I totally get it. But when combined, because it's a really weird way the steering works, but it works really nicely. But when you're also trying to do everything with one hand, it's a little bit too much for my time.
You only got me shouting at you.
Guys, right, if you like these videos, if you could please like, share and subscribe to us on Driftland TV, and if you give me a follow on YouTube and Facebook and Craig Does Drift. Dude, thank you.
Mate. Well done.
Cheers.
Brilliant.
Thanks,
really
guys.
well done.
Bye-bye. That was the best driving instruction I've ever had. I've never had somebody sit beside me going, no, come on, do it faster, come on! And I'm sitting here terrified. It was such a gentleman.
Excellent. For the first go ever with hand controls, that is impressive, because I mean that must be so unnerving, because you're trying to use your feet because they do work for the pedals and they're not there. But yeah, that is
yeah, how many times did you go for the invisible pedal, do you think?
I don't like. I don't even know if I remember the last 10 minutes. There's so much going on. My brain might have melted.
That was an incredible challenge, and Darren, looking forward to seeing you getting on in RDC over the next coming days. Well done, mate.
Brilliant.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, cheers for having me. Great, thank you.